The Patriot is one of the most intriguing historical action films, illustrating the American Revolution in stunning fashion. Starring Mel Gibson, the film follows Benjamin Martin, a veteran of the French and Indian War who now lives as a widower with his 7 children in a peaceful village. However, when a villainous British colonel, William Tavington, murders one of his sons, Martin leads a militia to exact revenge, giving birth to a new and ambitious nation. Even though The Patriot performed reasonably well at the box office, grossing $215 million on a $110 million budget, it has often been cited as one of the few historically inaccurate movies. Certainly, some portions of the film are based on true events, while others are considered to be fabricated to depict a more positive side of history. This brings us to the primary question: how realistic is The Patriot's historical depiction? After watching The Patriot, one would assume that both Benjamin Martin and Colonel William Tavington would hardly be based on real-life individuals, especially considering Martin's self-driven righteousness and Tavington's unrivaled cruelty. However, both characters are, in fact, inspired by several historical figures. There was no militia leader named Benjamin Martin during the Revolutionary War, but the character is based on various personalities, including Francis Marion, Thomas Sumter, Andrew Pickens, Nathaniel Greene, and Daniel Morgan. Of course, Benjamin's life and family are both fictionalized, as is his relentless revenge for the murder of his beloved son. Nonetheless, Francis Marion is said to be the true foundation for Benjamin's persona. On the other hand, The Patriot's main villain, William Tavington, is modeled after Sir Banastre Tarleton, a real-life British politician and soldier, who commanded his forces in the Battle of Cowpens to exterminate Francis "Swamp Fox" Marion, but was unsuccessful, just as he is in the film. While the actual historical figure is not as ruthless as the one represented in the movie, Tarleton was nicknamed the Butcher because he refused to take prisoners. The Patriot is historically inaccurate throughout the film. It's a well-known fact that The Patriot features some of history's most controversial moments, such as the church incident and slavery. The film shows that the freed slaves working under Benjamin Martin were treated as a family, earning a living while being content. However, Francis Marion has a horrible reputation for mistreating slaves, including the execution of several who were suspected of cooperating with the British and sexually abusing female slaves. Marion was also known for the slaughter of Cherokee Indians, an incident labeled in the film as Benjamin Martin's biggest regret in his life. Interestingly, the film was originally set to be a biography of Marion, but after learning of the crimes he committed, they had to change the main character's name and other key incidents. On the contrary, Tavington was not as cruel as portrayed in the movie, where he corners a group of locals in a church and burns it down, killing over 100 people, including women and children. This is one of the moments for which The Patriot received harsh criticism, as it was misleading and mirrored an incident that occurred 200 years later during World War II, where hundreds of residents of Oradour-sur-Glane were massacred by the Nazis. In other words, the film tries to defame Tavington as much as possible while portraying Benjamin Martin as a saint who fought for America's freedom, despite the fact that his role was primarily inspired by the polar opposite. Only battle scenes were historically accurate. It's true that The Patriot was heavily criticized for its erroneous representation of many historical events, but the film nevertheless retains a certain degree of authenticity. It is proven during 2 prominent battles in the film, the Battle of Camden and the Battle of Cowpens. Since firearms took a long time to reload in the 18th century, both American and British forces marched towards each other, stood motionless, and fired their rifles in unison during these battles. The film masterfully captured these war sequences, especially emphasizing General Daniel Morgan's tactic of militia soldiers firing only 2 rounds and faking a retreat so that the British forces would push forward and fall into the trap the American troops had set up. All of these real-life battle formations and guerrilla tactics were implemented in the final battle against Colonel William Tavington, where Benjamin Martin led his own militia to liberate the country. While the film certainly had its shortcomings in terms of historical truth, fiction-wise, it was a pure cinematic experience, with Mel Gibson's performance complementing its other positive elements, such as battle sequences, emotional depth, and patriotism. As a result, seeing it as a form of entertainment rather than a source of knowledge may be more appropriate, particularly for viewers who are familiar with the historical context on which it is based. The Patriot is streaming on Prime Video.